It will be varchar only, sir.
Yeah, it would be the varchar or varchar max. So varchar of the some number or the max. That's good. Then let me go by.
Did you say for the it is a varchar max?
Yes, we can go for the varchar max. Because why I have chosen the varchar max is so I don't know how much text someone can enter. One can enter the 2 lines, one can enter the 3 lines. If I want to give the maximum length, then I can go for this. But if you want to restrict only 500 characters, sometimes in some websites you see maximum length you can give only 500 characters, something like that. Which means they restricted themselves, saying that your comment should be the less than 500 characters. Okay.
That means what you mean is like varchar means it will be restricted only for some extent, whereas if we do for varchar max, if we go with the varchar max, we can give whatever we want.
That would take to up to the 4,000 character. If it is a varchar, it's 8,000 characters, right? The maximum it can take to the 8,000 or the 2 GB memory. Okay, and let's see one more. Like the fields where you don't have the control means it's going to be extend more, then you can use it. Could you please mute yourself, someone? I'm getting a little bit noisy over here. Sorry, could you please mute yourself, everyone? Yeah, makes sense. Gender, still I'm hearing the noises. Could you please mute yourself? Somebody.
Gender
Sorry,
is
wait.
car.
Yeah, character. Character of 6. Yeah, character of 6. That's good. Okay. Now, this good. We are able to identify the tables and the columns and the data types. Now, jump on to the next concept. Okay. Now, I know what kind of tables I need to create. I would like to create in my server. So, as per our architecture, right, your data is going to be stored in the table. Guys, someone is traveling and or somebody at the kitchen or something like that. I'm hearing a lot of noise. Now it's gone. Thank you. Okay. So now we know what kind of tables we are creating and what kind of the columns it will have and the data types, right? So where my table is going to be sit? As per our architecture, could you please tell me? The tables should be sit under the namespace. The namespace will be under the database. Database. And database will be in data SQL Server instance, right? So we need to connect your database engine. SQL Server has the graphical user interface tool, GUI tool, the tool name called SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. Hope everybody installed this one. If you are not able, if you are facing any installation errors, please send a mail to me with your error and the screenshot to um, SQLBA TekZenius@gmail.com. Okay, SQLBA TekZenius@gmail.com. If you are facing any installation issues or if your system not yet ready, if you need help, send a mail to this one and with the screenshot error what you are facing. I will reply to this one and you can get configure your machine. I highly recommend from today class onwards, you need the machine, you need the environment where you can go ahead and create and execute your queries and everything. So you need the environment. Do you guys have the environment
Excuse
set
me,
up? Yep.
can you repeat which software to download?
No, the step-by-step documentation. Did you guys get the step-by-step documentation I have sent in the IM on that day, 2 days back? Did you guys? Uh,
Yes, yes, we got it.
Yes, we got that.
so based upon that, did you guys install the SQL Server? First thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just telling if anybody left with the installing the SQL Server, you have to install this one. And if you are facing any issues, please feel free to send a mail to this email so that I can help you to install that one in offline. Okay. Now,
Just a quick question. I could not find the Excel sheet on the SharePoint.
this is the same link. You can go back and check on the same link. It would be in the same link.
So the Excel sheet also is on the same link?
Yes, I have pasted yesterday.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Now,
Thanks.
yeah. Now, as per our instructions, we have to have the DB under the instance. In the DB, we can create a namespace. In that namespace, we can create a table. So to connect to this one, we need to go through from the management studio, right? To connect to your management studio, go to the run button and click on the SSMS. That will help you to open this management studio. And to connect to a particular server, what is the server type you have to select? Database engine. What is the server name we need to give? The server name should be machine name / the instance name. So the server name is the machine name / instance name, and you have the two types of authentication: Windows authentication and the SQL Server authentication. If you select the SQL Server authentication, you need to give the username and password. If you select the Windows authentication, you need not to provide anything. That will take your system logins. Okay, once you log in, and we will set the management studio, right? Now today we will discuss about how to create a database. First task we have to do is we need to hold our tables. So we need to create a database, right? So to create a database, the management studio has the steps to create from the graphical user interface. It will give you the wizard help to create the database, or you can write a script to execute this one. Okay, let's first go by the wizard, which will help you to create your database. Okay, and by the way, once you open this one, it will have from for a couple of system databases. We gone through the system databases. We have the four types of system databases: master, model, MSDB, tempdb. Can anyone answer what is the MSDB? What purpose I will have the MSDB?
Run job periodically.
Yes, run job periodically. All your SQL job information, everything will be in the MSDB. With the help of SQL agent, we can create a job. That's good. And what is the model DB?
It is a template to create a new database.
Perfect. It's a template to create a new database. Perfect. So these are the system database. Now you can create a new database by right clicking, create new database. Okay, you can just give the database name. Whatever. Suppose we are creating the online restore, right? Online. So I can give my company name. I can give some product name. So choosing the database name. Let's take it. You are in organization. Now you are creating a new database. Uh, how would you go and choose what kind of name you need to give to your database, right? Your database name should be reflect your project or the product or the website, which one you are creating. So that should reflect, if someone seeing this database name, they can understand, hey, this database is for my site so and so. So I'm creating the website online store. So this way database related to that one, or I'm creating a product ABC. This database related to that one. So your database name or the object naming, whatever you are giving, that should reflect the at least some context to the situation what you are doing, right? So here we are trying to create the databases for our online store. Okay, online store I can give. So we'll talk about very highly about high level about these file types, and we will come to these file types and how files are organized, how the data is being stored on the backend in the later session. But I can give you the very high level. So whenever you created a database, it will have the two types of files. Okay, one is the master database files. So MDF, primary files, we can call it as the primary files, where all your data will be stored. And there is a log file. Yeah, we have a log file where your transaction, suppose you are reading, writing some information in the table and all these things, that log that session information, everything will be in the log files. So your current working information, everything will be in the log file, and your actual data will be stored in the primary file. So that's why it will create two files. So the primary file extended with .mdf. The log file will be extended with .ldf. Okay. So, and the second thing is the options. So
what is different? Can you repeat one more time that one word? Extension file,
primary data. So let's take you entered the table 100 records, 100 product information. All that 100 product information will be in your .mdf file. It will be stored in the
MDF.
MDF. So let me write down that one. So .mdf. That is the primary files. Okay. .ldf. This is the log files. And
what is that? Any name it with MDF full form or something like that one?
Yes, all your primary data, mean to say all your table data will be in this one. Okay, at very high level. Okay, all your transaction, mean to say you are selecting the query, you are doing some modifications. So during the time, the data should be in some temporary things, right? And so what are all the, how many queries you did, how many updates you did. So all your log information, the session information, everything. So the sessions logging and all this information in the log files, session or log file informations. We will come back to these things later, the file groups management and all these things concepts. At very high level, you just understand your all the data, whatever you entered into your table will be go and sit in the primary data file called extended with the .mdf. So if you see here, so by default, your file is going to be stored here, all your database file. Okay, you can change these paths also if you want. Suppose you have the limited space in the drive when you are correcting, so you can correct to the different, you can point to the different drive also, so you can change over here. These are the things. The options, we can talk about this these concepts later. We need not to know anything over here at this point of time. The file groups also, the primary files where it is going to be stored and all. Just click OK. So all what you need to do at this point of time is create new database, give the database name, click OK. That will create a table database for you. Okay. Then once you expand this database, it contains all the objects related to the database. So one of the object is the tables, right? So or you can create your database by using the query also. So this is the object explorer, right? This is the object explorer. So if you want to this is all object explorer. If you want to connect to a query window and make some queries, so you can click on here new query. Okay, that will open a separate window, and if you see on the top, the query window name will tell you this is the SQL query.sql, query1.sql. You can rename this one. Okay, the machine, the server name what you connected. So I can create database name. So let's take online store 1, something like that. Okay, simply click execute button, F5. I can click on that one. That will also create a data. It will once it is done, you have to refresh your object explorer. You can, on the top there is a refresh button. You can just refresh this one. See, online store 1. 2 databases got created. One we created with the wizard help, one we created with the script. I always recommend you to write the scripts through the SQL scripts. Okay, wizards will help us, but once you started using the wizards, you will lose your contents, and if you want to share the steps to someone what you did, or you can't share, right? If you do with the wizard help, but if you do with the scripting, you can share the same scripts to anyone else. They can execute. So mean to say, if you want to move the run the same scripts on the other machine, you did your queries and everything on the dev machine, then you want to move to the other UAD server or the production server. So you must have your scripting. So you have to execute all these things with the scripts. Okay, but tools will help you if you don't need not to share with anyone. You just want to accomplish the task. Then you can go for the tools also. But as a learning point, I would highly recommend you to use the scripting. Okay, this is the SQL scripting. Whatever we are writing here is the SQL scripting. Okay, SQL, structured query language. Okay, so use this scripting information, right? So now if you see here, I created one thing and I executed. It's created a database over here. Now we need to create the tables in the tables in the database, right? So let me drop this online store one. I don't need this online store one. Okay, so I can go ahead and delete here. That is the one way. While explaining, I will do the both ways. Okay, so you can select the close existing objects. If someone is already connected to your database, if you are trying to drop the database, if this box is not selected, then the execution won't complete because somebody is already executing, right? So close existing connections, click OK. Now it's gone. So now online store, I want to create a tables in this part. So click new query. So whenever I click new query, the database here it's selected to the online store. So whatever the execution I'm doing here, all the scripts will be executed against this online store. Suppose if I want to change this one to some other database, I have to use master. Let's take, I want to connect to the master database. There is a command called use. So if I click on use and give the database name, execute, look on the top, it's changed to master. So we need to always make sure that the commands what we are executing is executing on what database. Let's take here, I'm just creating a object, table object. Okay, so create table, a table name. So basically, before going to the create structure, I would like to classify the commands what we have. What are all the different classifications we have? So we have the SQL commands as DDL commands, which is the data definition language. Okay, data definition language commands. So the data definition language commands are create, alter, rename, drop. Okay, and these are all. So whatever the modification, if you want to modify the existing SQL Server objects, all those commands come under the DDL commands. So the data definition, right? This is about the defining the object or altering the object or renaming the object or dropping the object. So you can create a database, you can create a table, or you can create a index, or you can create a stored procedure. So all the create statements are create table, database, or table, or index, or the stored procedure. We'll talk about the indexes and table stored procedures later point of time. But all the creating any of these things will become under the DDL command. The alter commands, again, you already created a table, you want to modify something. Let's take you give the table as product ID and name. You forgot to give the description column and you already entered the 50 rows in that one. Now you want to add the new column. If you drop your table, it will take away the data also, right? But without changing or disturbing the existing data, if you want to just add the another column, then you have to use the alter statement. Or while you are designing a database, you give the data type as okay, name as 6 characters. Now you want to change to 6 to 10. then alter statement. So because you are changing the structure or the definition of the object, a definition of a table or a column or a database. So if you are changing the definition of the objects, those are all come under the DDL commands. And the rename, suppose there is no straight away rename command over here, but using the system procedure we can rename, but rename also one of the DDL command. You give as the table as, let's take a product, you want to change it to product new, something like that, then you can use the rename commands. And you created some unwanted objects and you want to drop it, then you can use the drop command. So the create, alter, rename, drop are called the DDL commands. Any question over here? We'll go through the each command, how to write a syntax and how to execute on all these things now.
Under the DDL command, apart from the any other commands, are then only just you listed only few things only.
Pardon?
You listed only few things only, or remaining are other commands also available under DDL?
DDL, some people will tell that truncate also will be under the DDL, and I'm talking about the SQL server. Again, you can have the multiple objects, we have the database management systems, we have the SQL server, Oracle, MySQL, something like that, right? So
I'm talking about SQL only.
yeah,
I'm talking about
in the SQL,
only.
these are the DDL commands. Okay, we
Only
have
four comments only, correct? 4 comments only, correct?
yes, these are the DDL commands. Create, alter, rename, drop, and truncate also. Some people, Microsoft in the MSDN also, you can see the truncate statement also come under the DDL statement they will mention. Irrespective of whether it is a DDL or DML, we have one of the command called truncate also. We'll talk about that one also. Okay. So these are the commands. Let's go one by one, and first defining the object. Then once you define the objects, you need to deal with the data in that objects. Those are the commands or the DML. This is the data manipulation language. So
Hello.
yeah.
Sir, can you increase the font size? I'm not able to view. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
sorry. Okay. Thanks for asking.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let me see. There is some way where I can increase the font size.
Hi, we are not able to hear you properly. There's a lot of disturbance.
Okay. Is it everybody feeling the same thing, or is it clear now, or do you feeling any difference? Let me first figure it out how to increase the font size in this window. It's a kind of
Down. You can increase it down like 100%.
yeah, you're right. Here we can change it to 200% or 150. Let's make it. Is it clear? Is it visible now? So I can take couple of things over here. I can unpin this one. I can unpin this one. Okay. And okay, this selection. Let me take off the just written the okay. We'll figure it out that one later. Okay. Or I can take. It's not about the window.
Can you tell people to unmute themselves? There's a lot of background sound coming.
Yeah, guys, could you please unmute yourself? We are couple of people are experiencing the one second. Let me just take out this highlighted ones. Object Explorer. We can use this one. Okay. Now, DDL commands we discussed about: create, alter, okay, rename, drop, truncate. Next, DML commands.
Are they supposed to be capitals?
No, it's not required. So the SQL Server, there is no, it's not a case sensitive. Okay, you need not to bother about whether it's a capital or the small letter. Okay, so the SQL Server, either you can write like this. Okay, create, or you can write create, or you can write this one. Anything will work. Okay. The DML commands, coming to here, we have to, these commands are for the data manipulation. So all the DDLs are related to the objects, the DML commands are related to the data. So you can insert the data, or select the data, or you can update the data, you can delete the data, or you can merge the data, right? So these are all the DML commands. The commands which are related to the data manipulation. So those are all called the DML commands. The insert, select, update, delete, merge. Okay. So like we have the DCL commands. So this is controlling the objects, like grant and revoke. Suppose if you want to give the permission to some guys, if you want to take off the permission, so those are the grant and revoke commands. And we have the TCL commands. These are all related to the
Can you elaborate one more time? DCL commands, data control languages, correct?
data control languages. So basically, it's the controlling the object. So either someone can view this one, someone cannot view this one. So you are giving the permissions. Okay. So this user can view this table, this user cannot view this table. So how would you control the data visibility and all? So that's why the grant and revoke permissions will be commanded the DCL.
The grant, and we are going to use this table as to look at the other person like that on grant.
Give the take off the access. Grant
On the cannot give the access to them, correct?
Exactly. Revoke means you already have the access, you are taking off the access from them. That is the revoke.
Oh, okay, got it.
Grant means give the access to someone else. And revoke means take off the existing access. There is no command to don't give the access kind of thing. There is no point of that one. Okay, if you don't add that user to the database, he can't see anything. Okay, transaction control language. TCL is the transaction control language.
For example, if you not give any access, they will not give you the take, correct? If we have to intentionally give the access, otherwise they don't have access, correct?
They don't have access. Transaction control language. Yeah, we'll talk about the access when we come to the commands. We'll talk about how someone can get the access to the database, someone can get the server, someone can get the table level access, those things. Okay. So transaction control language, like you have the you made some transactions. So the commit and rollback. So you made a transaction. Until I committed that one, don't update my record. Okay, until I roll, if I roll back, all the transactions happened during that session should be rolled back. So we'll talk about this one at the end of the thing. So it's a transaction management, mostly in the banking system and all these things. Until unless you committed, your credit or debit account won't be show up this one. So number of resources, how many you have, how many are somebody is, how much you withdraw, how much you deposited. So until you committed, your deposited amount won't show up over there. Until you are committed, your withdrawal amount won't update over there. So the transaction management is one of the other concepts. So these commands, commit and rollback, come under the TCL. So let's come back to here. DDL. That is the main.
Can one more time, can just let me know the definition, commit and rollback exactly?
Commit means, so if I commit the transaction, until unless I commit the transaction, whatever the inserts or updates or deletes I made, that won't get impacted, that won't update in my tables. So whenever you start transaction and end transaction, between the start and end transaction, so there is a transaction management is a big concept. We can talk about that one later. But if you have started your commands as a begin transaction, until unless you commit that one, all the insertions what we made, it won't impact your table. It won't go directly inserted into your table. It will be in the memory until unless you commit, it won't update in your tables. The rollback means what you, suppose you made some transaction and you have to roll back due to some error, something like that. Then you have to roll back all the inserts what you made earlier. So that is the rollback. So if you want to take off the data what you inserted during this transaction, that is the rollback. You want to commit the data what you inserted in during this transaction, that is the commit statement. So we'll talk about the TCL commands in detail when it comes. Just at this point of time, just remember what are all the commands come under what category. That's it. And we'll go to each command and we'll talk more about that one during that time. Is it clear? Okay. So now I have the created a database. Now I want to create the tables. So let's talk about the create table option. How would I create a table? Let's take, if I want to take a new window here, I can click on the new query and that created a new query over here. Now create table. The basic syntax. I'm not going to be talking about each and every part of the create table. Our definition, the create table structure keep on updating. It's not the one. I'm going to be cover whatever you will learn till that part. How would you create a table? Later, once you add, you learned about the keys. How would you add a key to the table? Once you add about the constants, how would you add the constant to the table? So the table definition, what I'm specifying here is till the part what you learn. Okay. So the basic simple statement for the create table is create table name. The table name is, so create table name, right? The table name part, so will contains, let's take, I can give the table name as database name dot schema name dot table name. This is the actual one. Okay, you can specify your table name as database name dot schema name dot table name, or you can specify as schema name dot table name, or you can just give the table name. Okay, you can't give database name dot table name. Okay, either you can specify only the valid statements of top three. You can directly give the table name, then it will take the default schema and the database on which database you are creating the table. If you give the schema name dot table name, it will take the database on which database you are executing this query. If you give the complete database name dot schema name dot table name, it will take those database and it can create a object in that database. Let's see the
So one
difference.
question.
Yes.
Sir, why you are not leaving any space between database name, scheme name? Is very mandatory to not leave space, or is
So
there any reason behind it?
there is no space concept over here, right? So while you are writing the code, anything, it's not the punctuation kind of things. It's not the grammar kind of things. It's a database name dot schema name. So there is no space over here. It's not like that. It's a mandatory. There should not be any spaces.
No. For example, we want to do the database name is here actually the master,
Online.
you create master online store.
Yes.
The schema name is
Default schema. So we talk about the schema, right? The grouping together. You can create a schema for the HR team or the sales or something like that, or you can just leave it. If you just leave it, it will go to the DBO schema. Default schema.
no. Generally, my question is actually we are going to creating the table under the database only, correct?
Will create the databases. You guys have to remember the structure what we discussed over here, right?
No, I remember the structure. Just I want to understanding. Right now, you're creating the database. So under the database, that database name is online store.
Yes.
Under the online store, you're going to creating the table name.
If you create like this, let's see, just give a minute, we'll come back to your question. Okay, create table name. Let's take, I'm going to create an employee table. TBL underscore employee is my table name, and start with open parenthesis and close with the close parenthesis. Here I want to give the two column names, employee ID, which is small int, and comma, I want to give the employee name, EMP name, which is the varchar of 20. Let's take, if I create this table, okay, execute, create table name, employee ID, small int, EMP, varchar of 20. If I go back to my database here, if I refresh this one and expand this one and expand to table, I must see my table over here. But I was not able to see the table here. Why? Because see this query window. This query window is executing in the master database. So here I didn't specify the database name. So this table went on to this database because my query is connected to master database. See, it's created here. So if I want to create a particular table on a particular DB, I have to make sure that either I connect it to the DB properly, or I give my database name here, or I can use my database name here, use online store, then execute this command. Okay, then I can come back and click on refresh tables. I have here first statement. You need to make sure that where you are executing this one, either you can change the database name here, or you can use the command use online store. And if you just give the table name, it would assume it has to create a table in the database where you connected under the default schema. I haven't specified any schema here. That's why if you see, it's showing as dbo dot table name, tbl employee. Clear? The same thing I can create like this. Create table. I want to create a namespace, different namespace. Let's take what are all the namespaces I have here. So to check what are all the namespaces are available in my current DB, we need to go to the security folder. Under the security folder, there is a schemas. There it will show you what are all the schemas available for you by default. There is a system database, system schema, information schema, guest schema, like this you have. So if I go back, if I want to create a new schema, I can right click here, new schema. I can give the name of the schema here. Let's take, I am going to create the HR. Just click OK. Now the HR schema got created. Now I can create a table HR dot TBL underscore EMP. EMP ID, small int. So I can copy the same thing and paste it. Right? So if I execute this one, it is showing error over here because this window is opened before I created a HR schema. Right? I click on execute. Executed. Go back tables. Refresh. See HR dot this one. Because I have used the schema name dot table name. This is going to be this is going to be create the table in this schema, the database what I connected. Or I can give another way. Online store.
Can I repeat this one HR scheme one more time if you don't mind?
Yeah, I will come back to that one. Okay, online store dot hr dot this one. Okay, and I can, okay, I already have this table, right? So I'm just giving the another table name. Then I can create this one, even though I'm in the master database. I can create this one. This will be still in my online store because I give the complete path. where this table has to create. Online store.hr.table, right? So it's gone to this path. Any question? I will come back to the schema. So schema is nothing but a folder structure. Just think schemas as the folder structure. You want to group your tables under one folder. So you have, think about it, your file system, you have the online store. Under that I created a HR one folder, sales one folder, inventory one folder. In HR folder, I created all the tables related to HR. So the schemas is nothing but the folder structure. How to organize your
Actually,
tables.
I understood, but my question is, why is not getting schema in between database and tables? That's the reason my question. That's all only.
This one, this error mark.
Yeah, why is not linked? My question is
It's linked.
database. After that, I want to come the schema. Then after comes the table. That's what I'm thinking that way.
Basically, this window is opened before I created this one. If I create a new window, okay, so now create table online store dot h dot something tbl underscore one. See, it's not showing any error here because this window opened after I created this object. The previous window was opened or created before this object was not created. So this window is opened long back, right? That's why this is not able to identify during the just the typing, but compilation it was able to identify because the object is exist. Is your question clear?
No. My question is that HR is schema is not comes under the database.
No, this is in the data online store database folder only. You can see.
What I'm asking that under the online online store, that is a database name. Under the directly come the table. In between is, for example, if you can open the folder anything.
No, it will come all your schemas you can see over here. So security folder schemas.
No. And my question is actually, for example, you are working on the C drive and working on the online folder.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. This is not exactly the same folder structure over here. I'm giving the concept. I'm giving the concept. Okay. How would you remember the schema? I'm giving the concept. The schema is nothing but the folder structure. Suppose if you see the tables, it's appended, right? So you can see here online store dot hr dot this one, online store dot dpo dot this one. So that way you have to read. It is not the online store schemas folder under the table folder, not like that.
Okay. So I got it. So in between, for example, any database name, table name in between there, that is comes under the schema name only.
Yeah. So if you want to create, okay, let's take table online store dot. I want to create a table called tbl underscore product id as integer small int comma name as something varchar of 10. It won't succeed because this online store is not a schema and we didn't specify any schema name here. So in this situation, it won't take the default schema name. It has to be a complete format. So as I mentioned, either it could be the database name dot schema name dot table name or the schema name dot table name or the table name. This is the structure you have to enter. Clear? Any questions? People generally will go by the create table name. Okay, that gives the problem if you are trying to execute the same thing. So if you didn't specify this your database name and you didn't observe your database where you are connected and you executed, you will not find your database, right? So make sure that you follow this structure. Once you created a database here, right? Let's take the product. Let me create a employee table. We already created employee table. Create employee. Now see, the second one is I don't want this employee one. I created employee, HR employee. I don't want the table employee one. I don't want to this object. So what command I have to use? Drop statement. Drop table. Okay. And I can give the exact schema name. I have to give the total namespace, right? So online store I can give here HR dot tbl underscore emp1. I don't need this object, so I can drop this object. See, there is no emp1. I don't want this dbo.temp1 employee also, so I can create dbo dot. Here I need not to specify. Let's take, if I didn't specify this one. Okay, here the tbl, oh, sorry, emp, not the emp1. If I didn't specify anything, it will directly look for the default schema. It's deleted the dbo dot. It didn't deleted the hr dot.
But generally, most of the times, if not specifying any schema, we'll take the DBO as schema, is correct?
Yes, that's right.
The DBO means default schema, correct?
No, it's a database object. It's a default schema. DBO.
Database object.
Yeah.
Database object, the default schema, correct?
Yes. DBO is the database object, and that is the default schema. Okay. Now.
I understand.
We have deleted the object. What we don't. So create statement for the creating the object. Drop statement for dropping the object. Let's assume I give the name in HR table. Okay. The second statement we want to learn is, once you execute it here, you can explore this one. Okay, you can just expand this one. Under the columns, it can show you what is the schema structure you have created. You create emp id, which is a small int, and the employee name, which is the varchar 20. I want to add another column. Let's take date of birth or the gender. I already created a table. I want to add one more column, gender. Then, which means you are trying to alter the existing structure of the table. So you have to use the alter statement, right? So alter table name. So it's going to be hr dot tbl underscore emp, and you want to add a column, right? So it's going to be add. For the column, it's not required to specify as a column, but you can directly give the column name. Okay, add gender varchar of or character of 6, right? Character of 6.
Sir, I have one question
Yes,
of
please.
a doubt. Instead of drop and alter, can we use delete and update instead, respectively?
Delete, update, those are the data manipulation language which will work
Yes,
on the data. It's not on the table structure.
okay.
Here
Okay.
you are
Yes.
trying to change the structure of the table, right? Delete will
Okay.
you to delete the records. It won't touch the schema.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Alter
Thank you.
also the same way. Now, if I
One more question actually, this gender, if you wanted to, I want to column number 1, column number 2, column number 3. For example, totally already 5 columns are there, but I want to create the gender in between. Is it possible like that one?
So it doesn't require the order over here. Yeah, it is not required. It is not possible. Whenever you added this one, the column name will come to the last column only. Okay, and
It's added last one. Last one.
Yeah,
okay, fine.
it will add to the last only. There is no column order specification in the query statement. Okay, so alter this
Thank
one.
you.
Then if I go here, refresh, and columns, gender. Okay, now I decided, okay, I have added a column gender, but instead of giving the character of 6, I want to change it to, instead of a character, I want to change that one to varchar. Okay, by default, I created a character 6. I realized that, oh, no, I don't want to go for the character 6. I want to go for the varchar 6 or the employee name. I see a couple of employee names where the first name, last name combination total together is going to be 30 characters. I want to change my varchar length, which I given was 20 earlier, to the 50. Then again, you are trying to change the schema definition, right? So it's going to be alter table hr.tbl underscore emp. It's alter again, because modifying or alter both are the same concept. Before to 2012, there is a modify syntax come as modify. After 2012, it's renamed it to modify to alter. Okay, so it's going to be alter. Now you are changing the column. You have to specifically mention alter column. So gender, or let's take EMP name. You can give the new data type, varchar of 50. Go back here and refresh. Columns. See, this is got changed. Suppose if you want to add a new column, alter add. If you want to modify the existing column, alter alter. If you want to make some comments over here, double slash, okay, and let's take drop the column. I realized that I don't want to give the added employee name. I want to give as the first name and last name. I want to change my structure to the first name and last name. I don't want to be the employee name as a single column. Then I need to add 2 columns and I need to drop 1 more column, right? So alter table hr.tbl_emp. Can someone tell me? I want to add the first name. What is the command? Asha?
Add first name.
Okay.
In that nvarchar.
Nvarchar. Okay.
Maybe it will take maximum something nvarchar.
Don't assume. Try to, okay, whenever you are trying to learning things, right? Try to learn with the proper data types. Don't use the maximum here. First name, I am not going to be expanding greater than 50 characters first name. Is there anyone has the maximum?
No. For example, some people say first name is 3 characters, some name is 10 characters.
That's why we are using the varchar. We are not using the char. That's the purpose of the. So max again go for the different meaning. Okay. So first name 20. And if I want to add the last name also, then I can copy.
No, this nvarchar will take only maximum 22 only, correct?
No. Maximum you can take that 4.
No. I'm saying that you already mentioned 20. That means we can add plus 2. 20 plus 2, 22 only take.
Yes, exactly. Last name. Okay. Last name and varchar 20. Now I want to drop the column also, right? I don't want the employee name. So I have to drop the column. So let me just paste this one. And the third statement is drop. Drop column, and column name is, I just need to specify the column name here. EMP name. Here I need not to specify the data type while dropping the object. While adding the objects, I need to give the add and the column name and the data type. While modifying, alter column and the new definition. Column name and new definition. So,
and one more thing also, we are playing with the data definition language only, but all along with our objective only. But whatever we are adding the columns, add and drop on the add, you may not be coming under that command add. No, I'm talking about the data definition language. Yes. You're talking only few comments, alters and.
So alter is the command. So with the alter, you can add, alter, drop, modify. So
my question is actually just 1 minute. I want to reformation of my question is actually you're talking the data definition language. You're talking about the alter, rename, drop, and truncate.
Yes.
And why you didn't add in this particular folder?
Alter,
you already add the drop.
No, this is the one command. Okay, alter command come along with couple of modifications. Okay, in alter you can add.
Oh.
In alter you can add.
Drop.
Yeah, you can alter again, or you can drop. Okay,
okay.
Like this. So if I use the alter and add, I'm adding a new column. If I use the alter and alter, I'm modifying the existing column. If I'm doing the alter and the drop, I'm dropping the existing column. If I directly use the drop, I'm dropping the table. Okay.
So I got your point. Sure.
So now if I want to execute all these commands together, I can select all the
Sir,
commands. Yes, go ahead.
why not for first name it should be nvarchar instead of varchar, sir?
Give the
Varchar maybe.
we can give that.
Sorry.
We give the
Oh, okay.
varchar.
Both can be given. Okay.
Yeah, both can be given.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you. Okay.
just think about it. If it is a special characters required, then nvarchar. If it is a special
Okay.
characters not required, varchar.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, if you want to execute more than one command with a single execution, you can select all those commands and click execute. So now, if I go back and refresh my system,
Can we add first name and last name in one alter statement?
yeah, you can. You can also. So you can give the alter add this one. Here you can give the second statement and complete that one like that also. Okay, you can do.
Okay.
Yeah, so now I have executed, dropped the first name and last name and added the first name and last name and dropped the employee name. So with alter statement we discussed about add, alter, drop statement, right? Now, and we talked about the create and drop also. Create is done, create table, drop table we are done, alter table with add, alter and modify, drop we are done. The next statement we need to talk about rename, right? So to rename, one second guys, sorry about that. Yeah, so next statement we need to talk about the rename. Okay, so to rename we have we don't have a direct command in SQL Server as a rename. We need to use the system stored procedure sp underscore rename. Okay, sp underscore rename, and suppose if I want to rename my tbl underscore emp to tbl underscore employee, then I can give rename tb hr dot tbl underscore emp. This is the old name to hr dot tbl underscore employee.
What is the meaning of stored procedure?
This is a stored procedure which is a combination of the statements grouped together and that will be executed to perform some operation. That is the stored procedure. So the stored procedure is a combination of the statements which will try to execute in order to achieve something. So here to we don't, these are all the functions, commands, right? So in the back end it will have the code to how to do these things. For the rename, it is not the direct one. We have as a system stored procedure, sp underscore rename. We'll talk about the stored procedure once the concept comes. After the tables, queries, and all these things, we'll go for the stored procedure also. At this point of time, we need to remember, we need to use the system stored procedure, sp underscore rename, and it required the parameters, the old table name, comma, new table name. Once you execute this one, it is giving the caution for us, hey, if you are changing this object name, if some tables or queries are using this table name, that will break. That is obvious, right? So if you already give the one name and a lot of the scripts are written with that name, and now you come back and changing that object name, all the queries written on this one will be break. That is a caution. That's fine. Now if I go back and refresh my table, see, so I give as a, hr dot this one too. Let's take as, sorry, let me of this one. Our second way of doing this one also, you can do using the object explorer also. With the object explorer, you can directly just select this one. You can take off this one also, like that also you can change, or you can directly.
Why you're using SP here?
That's what I'm telling. We don't have direct command rename. To rename your objects, you have to use the command called sp_rename. This is the command procedure. So you have
okay,
to.
that is system command. The stored procedure already available, correct?
Yes, it's already available. Okay. Now, if you want to change the column name, I changed the table name. I want to change the column name. Let's take. I give the first name. I want to rename this one to F name. So you can rename here like F name, but still you can do with the command also sp_rename. You need to give the table name dot column name. Okay, hr dot tbl_emp dot column name is last name. To I'm trying to give L name. Okay, and this is the column. I need to specify as column. For the table, I need not to specify as table, but the column we have to give as the column. Object type.
So it is not EMP, it's employee. The table
Oh
name.
yeah, sorry. That's where. Thank you for reminding. Okay. Now if I go back and refresh, this is the element. So we talked about DDL commands: create, drop, alter, and rename. Now let me ask a question for you. Suppose I want to change my EMP ID column to employee ID.
Excuse me, sir. Can you
Yes.
please explain that SP rename, that stored
This is the
procedure?
command. This is the command. Just remember as a command, okay? SP rename, like the create, how the SP rename also one of the command. SP_rename, old table name and new table name. Here the
So, sir, is it associated with the stored procedures
yes, it
since
is
the
a
prefix is SP?
yes, it is a system stored procedure. This is not
Okay.
a direct command. This is a system stored procedure. We are calling the system stored procedure to rename the object.
Okay.
Okay.
So, can't we use this rename only instead
No,
of using that
there is
stored procedure?
that's what I'm telling from the beginning. There is no direct rename command in the SQL server, Microsoft SQL server.
Okay.
If you
Okay.
have that
Got it.
one, we would use that one. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So now,
And one more thing, sir, one more thing also, if you're giving the first last name, column name, but here only LN name only given, but did not give a specification of all the total HR,
you can give,
TBL inquiry.
you can give. It will automatically take this object, right? So basically, it's taking object and it's trying to change this one. So it know on which object it is changing. That's why it's not required the table name. It's not required a table name here in this new name. In the old name, it's required the total table name dot column name. In the new name, just we are just changing the last name to L name.
I got your point. And one more thing, this column we have to compulsory need to mention, correct?
Yes, we have to. Otherwise, how would this different than this above statement to this statement, right? So we have to mention that we are changing the column name. That is mandate. Okay, now we created the object. So I have one question, only one question. I want to change my employee ID here to EMP ID to employee ID. What command I need to use?
The same, that RP rename.
Rename or alter?
Alter?
Is
Employee
rename
ID to?
EMP ID to employee ID?
Rename.
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 Exactly. We need to rename. If you want to change the data type, then the alter statement. If you want to change the column name, means it is the renaming. Don't get confused. That's why I'm asking that question. If you change the columns definition, then alter. If you want to rename the column name, it is the SP_rename. Yes, go ahead.
So can we change the schema using rename?
That's a
We
good
have to
question.
change the schema.
Yeah, I think yes. I need to check on that one. Definitely. I hope. Yes, I never tried that one. It's a very good question. Let me see. HR, I'm changing to HR, yeah, something like that. HEM. Schema is not unrecognized. I will have a look on that one. Definitely there would be a SP underscore rename would take that definition. We have to go to the SP underscore rename object, what are all the parameters it take and what kind of parameter based upon the two things. I can answer that question tomorrow.
So,
yep.
in case we change the rename the schema,
No.
Will it be applicable for all the tables
Obviously.
which has the
Yes,
old
yes.
schema?
So
Okay.
let's take here. I just change. So if you change here the securities, right? Schemas, HR. If you rename here, there is no rename option over here. Yeah, schema, there is no rename option. I didn't see any rename option. We have the rename on the database. We have the rename on the table. I think schema we need to drop and create. It may not be the rename, but I will have a look on that too. Sorry about that. I think there must be the SP underscore rename. As it is not pop up in the object explorer also, it may not be possible to rename. Okay, now we created the object. I want to see what I have in my table. That is the select statement. So DML operations. DML operations I need to go. Let me quickly go through the select statement and insert statement so that you guys can create the tables, insert the data and read the data. Okay, just bear with me 5 more minutes and we will discuss this select and these things tomorrow also in detail. Okay, if I want to just read the data, I can use the select and you can give the column names separated by, or you can give the star. Star means all column names and the table name. Select star from table name. TBL underscore, that is the HR dot, right? HR dot TBL underscore employee. I have the employee ID, gender, first name, last name, but I don't have any data here. That's what it's telling. Let's take, if I write the select one. If I'm not reading from any table, I don't require from one table name. If I give the select one, the output would be 1. If I want to select something ABCD, then output would be ASDF. So the select statement, the select and the columns what you are giving, you can give the column names. If you are reading from object, you need to give the from. If you are not reading from the object, this part is not necessary or mandatory. So if I want to read the data from my table, I need to give select star from table. Okay, we'll talk about the select statement in detail while in the coming classes also. I will just closing on the things on few things. Then if I want to insert some data to my table, so from the tool, if I want to do, I can right click here, edit, top 200 rows, whatever it is. I can give one mail, something EMP1, L EMP1 tab. That is saved. Now if I come back to my query, select star from this one, I got this one. Right? So using the edit statement from the Object Explorer, you can do it, insert some records into the table, or you can write a script to execute this one. That script is insert. So insert into table name. Next, values. Here in the table name, you can give the column name. Suppose if you want to give the column values for only for the employee ID and the gender, you can give those column names. Okay, EMP comma, gender. Then the values you need to provide only for that employee ID and gender. Okay, 1 comma name. So 1 row affected. Then if I read this one, I have the another one where M and the first name and last name is empty. So if I didn't specify this one, and if I just write this information, and if I didn't specify this information, and I'm trying to insert something 2 comma female, it will fail because the table has the 4 columns, you are passing the 2 columns. So you can pass F emp3 comma L emp3. So one more thing you need to observe here is, for the strings I am enclosing between the single quotes. For the integers I am not putting that one. That is the second observation we do. So now if I execute this one, this would be fine. Any questions over here? Suppose if I want to insert multiple values, okay, so I can give as I can write like this, or I can just take off this one, and give as a comma separated pair. Okay, so it's going to be 4, 5, 6. Okay, I can insert like this also. Here it is, comma. It is missing comma for this topic, right? So that's it. So you can able to insert the values into the table using the insert command. Insert into table name and the column names, values and the column associated to each column. If you want to insert the multiple values, you can select like this. Insert into table values and the first record, second record, third record, like this. Or another way to insert the multiple values is you can select that one. I can maybe tell after that sometime. Using the select statement also you can insert the multiple values. Okay. What I would request you to is, as you created the tables yesterday, identify the tables and the column names. Please go ahead and create a tables and create a database first. Then create a namespaces whatever you want, and move the tables, create the tables into your database. That is the exercise for you by tomorrow. It is very much important, guys. Please allocate at least half an hour, 1 hour after the session and go through and do the homework what we suggested. That would give you the confidence saying that you executed, you created, and you can talk about it, right? So whenever you did by your own, you can talk about it. That's what we need here. This is not just a lecture.
Sir, I have one question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, while executing that alter command, can we specify two to three or multiple statements under one alter command, like add, drop,
No.
to add?
Okay, so that one is, let's take, okay, here add, let's take DOB, date of birth. Okay,
Yes.
the next one is drop gender. Okay, drop column gender. It won't. Okay.
Okay.
It
So
won't
for
allow.
every action, we have to specify a different alter command.
Yeah, if it is again add, you can do. Okay.
Can you please
Yes.
like show me one example?
Yes.
Because I tried it and I got some error.
So you can do like this.
Okay, in double parenthesis.
Yeah, add this one. Something column name. Insert time. Date time. Okay. Oh, Did I change TBL employee, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Now I can go select start from TBL under online store. You can select like this also now. HR dot TBL underscore employee. So please make sure that you go and create all your tables, guys. Okay, I really require that one to continue this session. Okay, that will give you the definitely the confidence. You can learn something. Okay, just listening and going and coming back to the tomorrow session won't help you to remember the things what we discussed. We are going through a lot of concepts. I hope this will give you the best information for you. Okay, the efforts what you should place, that is required to you to succeed. I would here to just to guide you, help you, and make sure that what is the real direction to achieve your goal, achieve the job. I will definitely make sure that you understand the SQL basics, write the queries, read the queries, and execute or write the stored process and everything. But it's at the same time I am expecting from you just go back and do yourself and whatever we discussed in the class, and see the difference after a week where you are in 2 weeks before and after a week where you are. Definitely you will see yourself. Okay.
And just go back to the insert comments. Just pull the data. Just go back.
Yeah.
Here we need to give the employee ID gender. It's not necessary, correct? Insert
Not
into
necessary.
the
Not necessary. If you didn't mention here, you have to pass the value for the all the columns in the table. If you specify some column names, then you have to pass the values to those only 2 columns.
Oh, okay. Remaining other column will take as null characters.
Yeah. Otherwise, it will take the null. Only these 2 columns will be populated. Remaining columns will be taken as the null.
Okay. Okay. If you want to specify all the columns, need not mention that one.
Exactly. If you are passing the record, total record, then you need not to specify the column name. If you are passing the part of the columns, then you have to specify the column header.
And okay. And recording somebody asking the schema question, correct? Schema means you are taking that HR1 is not there, correct? So once creating the HR1 in the schema.
We created, yes.
No. See, you are renaming the schema HR1 to HR1, correct?
Yes.
So, but HR1 schema is not at all there in the particular.
It is not there, but we are trying to rename the existing one.
And that may not be worked out, I think.
Oh, we will check on. I will have a check on that part. I never think about that part. Yeah, because table object I'm renewable. I'm able to rename. Database I'm able to rename. Why not the schema? I will have a look on that part.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Can we alter after employee ID, the next column was gender, right? Can we alter the gender to be displayed first? Can we alter that way?
No. So the thing is the order of the execution you are talking about. So you are talking about the here. So no, you can't rearrange these things. So whenever the thing is if you are really concerned about the order of these things, okay, one way is you can drop and recreate this object. Before this one, you can switch the data to some other temporary table. Then you can reload back. You can drop the object. So you can see the schema definition what you created. Right click, script table, create it to, or the drop and create it to. Okay, here I can select this one, and here I can rearrange the things what I mentioned and execute this one. But this will create a new object. I need to make sure that move the data from my old object to this object. We'll talk about this one tomorrow. Okay. So how to switch the data between one object to other object, how to load the data from the outside, how to modify. There are a lot of concepts we need to talk. We just entered into the situation. Now you got a confidence. You know what table you need to create. You know what columns you should have. You know what is the data type, how to create a table, how to insert the small data. Tomorrow we'll talk about how to update, delete, and how to do the bulk insert. Suppose I have a file of 1,000 people. How would I insert? I need not to write the 1,000 insert statements, or I need not to write the insert statement for the 1,000 records. How do you do that one? How do you compare the 2 tables? So those are all the things going forward. Cool. Is it interesting?
Thank
And
you.
yeah, feel free to share your feedback, guys, and it is really important.
Sir, I pasted one message. Can you please let me know what is wrong with this because it's throwing error.
Okay, let me say, maybe I have to draw. Let's okay.
The add keyword. Yeah.
The keyword is we need to write the primary key we want or the employer ID. So he is written on the on primary. This primary, you want to keep the primary.
This is the table by default table schema. Don't forget about this one. Don't bother about these things. Okay, just learn about what we are seeing. Okay, we'll come to that situation. I don't want to over give the information at the same time. What are all the different combinations you could try with the create table, right? That one come while we are going through the concepts. Our statement definition will change. Okay, how to add the constraint, how to add the keys and all these things. I am trying to find out your command. It's on the bottom of the list, or I was very on the top. I'm just trying to get to your command, but I'm talking about the other window. Okay. Okay, so what is the what is wrong with this one? Okay, okay. Alter table HR employee, add last name, nvarchar 20. Again, add is not required.
Yeah, I got it, sir.
Yes.
I just.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much, guys. Please go ahead and create your tables and create the tables and modify it and play with it, whatever we did. See you tomorrow. Thank you.
Sir, can you please make sure that this video is uploaded for, I mean,
Yes, I'm pasting the link, right? If it is not uploaded on site and if it is taking some time, but definitely you'll get every record will be within 1 hour in this link. I'm just posting that recorded section, that G drive. So this one I will take care of immediately within 1 hour. You have this recorded video, and our one step-by-step instruction, right? There you will get these scripts also. I'm going to be save all the scripts what we practiced today. I'll keep that scripts also there.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
That
Yes.
one. So if we have the Excel sheet, we can make the tables for today.
No, you have to create the schema definition. Okay, this table will help you to understand the column names and all, but you need to write down all your data types and you need to create your structure. I don't want you to jump onto that level. I want you to create the statement, practice the statement first.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. And I can give you some way how to create a mass generic script to create all these tables and all these things. Yes, we can do that one.
Can you copy this table actually? Did you copy the table? I'm not able to.
You can just copy like this and you can just go ahead and paste it, but it's required a lot of.
No. What I'm asking that did you? I didn't get this table actually. That's what I'm asking you.
Oh, this is in the Excel, right? I have uploaded. There is a second sheet called the tables. So there is.
No, because I want to look at it. You putting on drive google.com drive folder. That's correct.
Yeah.
I'll try. Yesterday I tried. I think so after class, but you didn't keep that after 5-10 minutes. You told me that one after. I didn't try after that one.
Yeah, just try after 1 hour, something like that. I have to convert on the paste these things. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, let's